Speaking. It's a crucial part of our day-to-day lives. It's important that we're speaking clearly to people who are truly listening to us. Whether we're trying to present something or persuade somebody, or if you're at a competition like this, it's kind of the whole point. But how do we change the way we speak to make it more powerful? Well, Julian Treasure, in his 2013 TED Talk, explains this. This is how to speak so that people want to listen. The human voice. It's an instrument that we all play. It's the most powerful sound in the world. Probably the only one that can start a war or say, "I love you." And yet, many people have the experience that when they speak, people don't listen to them. Why is that? How can we speak powerfully to make change in the world? What I'd like to suggest is that there are a number of habits that we need to move away from. What I've gathered here, for your pleasure, are the 7 deadly sins of speaking. Now, I'm not pretending that this is an exhaustive list, but these 7, I think, are pretty large habits that we can easily fall into. So, here they are. First, gossip. Speaking ill of someone who is not present. Not a nice habit. We all know that the person gossiping 5 minutes later will be gossiping about us. Second, judging. We know people who are like this in conversation. And it's so hard to listen to somebody if you feel like you're being judged, but found wanting at the same time. Third, negativity. You can fall into this. My mother, in the last years of her life, became very negative. I remember once I said, "Oh, it's October 1st today!" She said, "Oh, I know, isn't it dreadful?" Again, very hard to listen to that. And another form of negativity, complaining. It's the national art of the UK. It's practically our national sport. We complain about the weather, the sports, the politics, about everything. But in reality, complaining is just viral misery. It's not spreading sunshine and lightness into the world. Excuses. We've all met this guy. We've probably all been this guy. Some people have a blame thrower, they just pass it on to everybody else, but don't take responsibility for their own actions. It's kind of hard to listen to somebody who's being like that. Penultimate, the 6th of the 7, embroidery, exaggeration. It demeans our language, actually. For example, if I see something that truly is awesome, what do I even call it? Because that exaggeration turns to lying. And we don't want to listen to people who are lying to us. Finally, dogmatism. The confusion of facts and opinions. When these two things get conflated, it's like you're listening into the wind. When somebody's just bombarding you with their opinions as if they were true, it's so hard to listen to that. So, here they are. The 7 deadly sins of speaking. Again, these are things that I think we need to avoid. But is there an easier way to think about this? Yes, there is. What I've gathered are 4 cornerstones or foundations that if we step on, we can use to increase the strength of our speaking. Fortunately, these things spell a word, and that word is hail. The stuff that falls from the sky and hits you on the head. But I do mean an acronym with a great definition. So let's see if you could guess what it stands for. The H, of course, honesty. being your word, being straight and clear. The A, authenticity. Just being yourself. A friend of mine put it as standing in your own truth, which I think is a lovely way of putting it. The I, integrity. Actually doing what you say and being somebody that people can trust. And the L is for love. The romantic type of love. But I do mean wishing people well. That's for two reasons. One, I think absolute honesty might not be what we want all the time. I mean, you look ugly this morning. Perhaps not necessary. Tempered with love, of course, honesty can be a great thing. But if you're also truly wishing somebody well, it's hard to judge them at the same time. I'm pretty sure those two things are impossible to do simultaneously. So, hail. Now that's what you say, but it's like the old song. It is what you say, it's also how you say it. You have an amazing toolbox. So I'd like to take a little rummage in there with you right now and pull out a few tools that help increase the power of your speech. Register, for example. Now, falsetto might not be what we want all the time. There's a register in between. I'm not going to get too much into this for those of you who might be vocal coaches. You can locate your voice, however. Some people talk up here in their nose, and you can really hear the difference. You can move down here to your throat. This is where most of us talk from, most of the time. But if you are more deaf, you need to move down here to your chest. You hear the difference? We vote for politicians with deeper voices. It's true. That's because we associate depth with power and with authority. There's also timbre, so where your voice feels. Again, research shows that we prefer voices that are rich, smooth, and warm, like hot chocolate. And if your voice isn't like that, it's okay. You can go and get a vocal coach to help improve that timbre, that feel of your voice. We have prosody. I love prosody. It's the sing-song, the meta-language that we use to impart meaning. Some people who talk all in one tone are really quite hard to listen to if they have no prosody at all. We also have this repetitive prosody now coming in, where every sentence ends as if it was a question, when really it's not a question, it's a statement. And if you repeat that one, it actually restricts our ability to communicate through prosody, which I think is a shame. So let's try to break that habit. Pace. I can get really excited about talking really fast, or I can slow down to emphasize. And at the end of that is our good old friend, silence. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of silence, is there? We don't have to fill it with the ums and ahs. It can be very powerful. With pace comes pitch. It can be used to indicate arousal, just with pitch. Say, where are my keys? Versus, where are my keys? Again, two slightly different meanings there. And finally, there's volume. I can get really excited about speaking really loud. Sorry about that if I startled anybody. But I can also narrow down focus by getting really quiet. Now, I'll put this into context to close. Where we are now is we speak not very well to people who really aren't listening to us in an environment that's just filled with bad noise and bad acoustics. But what if we were living in a world where we were producing sound consciously to people who were consuming sound consciously? in an environment that's designed consciously for sound. Now that would be a world that is worth living in. One where understanding is the norm. And that is an idea that is worth spreading.